where crime rules the streets. When the citizens are in trouble, they call the authorities. When the authorities are in trouble, they call the bounty hunters.
Showtime!
Hello everyone, my name is Leon Levi and welcome to another Retro Pocket video. Honestly, I've played a lot of run and gun games over the years, and while some classics always get talked about, there are quite a few great ones that don't get the attention that they deserve. In this list, I'm sharing hyper underrated run and gun games that, to me, are worth your time if you like fast-paced action, tight controls, and cool level design. I'm not here to hype things up unrealistically, just pointing out some solid titles you might have missed but really should check out. Let's get straight to our first title. Super Cyborg. Super Cyborg isn't some flashy blockbuster, but it hit a weird sweet spot for me. Coming out around 2014 as a throwback indie run and gun, it basically feels like someone took classic Contra energy and added robots everywhere. You run, gun, and dodge through 7 hectic stages, and boss fights never really give you a breather. It's kind of punishing in that old school way. Your default weapon has rapid fire and a charge shot, which actually felt satisfying to master over time. There's no hype machine here, just pure metal chaos that made me smile when I got the rhythm down and finally beat that one stage I kept dying on. Midnight Resistance. If you're into that late 80s arcade charm with a twist of tactical aiming, Midnight Resistance scratched a unique itch for me. The arcade version throws you into a gritty future where you're blasting through dystopian forces to save your family. And the cool bit is you can rotate your aim in 8 directions while moving. That wasn't common back then. I don't just walk forward shooting, I'm constantly dodging, aiming in a circle, and trying to pick up keys so I can grab better weapons at the end of stage shop. It feels like a smart mix of strategy and chaos. And every time I finally made it through a tough boss with just inches of life left, I felt genuinely hyped. Broforce. So let's talk about Broforce for a minute. So this one kind of feels like pure adrenaline in pixel form. You don't just shoot enemies, you obliterate entire environments with explosions, wingsuits, and literally every action movie cliche turned up to 11. Each character feels like a love letter to some action icon, and rescuing prisoners nets you new bros to play as. The destructible terrain actually matters. Sometimes you accidentally blow a platform you need, and suddenly the run turns into this hilarious scramble to recover. What hooked me wasn't just the laughter when something ridiculous happened. It was that sense of teamwork. Even when playing solo, stringing together perfectly chaotic runs that felt like mini victories. Rapid Reload. I still remember booting up Rapid Reload on my old PlayStation and thinking, why does this feel so familiar, yet so different? On paper, it plays like Gunstar Heroes. Side-scrolling, get different weapons, bosses at every turn, but it's got its own rhythm. You choose Axel or Ruka, blast through 6 stages, and rack up points that literally power up your shots the more you collect. That point-to-power mechanic made me plan routes through enemies instead of just spraying bullets. And yeah, the lack of co-op felt like a missed opportunity, but that made every solo victory feel kind of personal, as I'd truly earned those boss kills after getting stuck on them for way too long.
John Sawyer, Cyborg. He's been a man since he was a boy.
Enjoy your flight.
Everything he owns is made out of metal.
Huntdown. To be honest, Huntdown was one of those surprises where the trailer and style pulled me in before I even played it. This neon-soaked corporate gangland future looks like a grindhouse movie come alive. And once you start running and gunning with your bounty hunter, every level feels like a gritty comic panel. The gameplay is tight, precise shooting, smart enemy placements, and vibrant backgrounds that don't just look good, but help tell the chaotic story. I loved the little moments where I'd practically high-five the screen after clearing a tough gang hideout or nailing a combo that finally got me past a nasty boss. It's run and gun with personality, and that emotional connection makes every replay feel fresh. Shock Troopers. From the first second you pick Shock Troopers up, it feels like someone distilled pure arcade energy into a Neo Geo cart. You pick your team by either flying solo or rotating through 3 fighters and dive into levels that constantly throw enemy fire at you. What really made it stick for me was that 8-direction shooting and the way you can dodge roll while trying to keep pressure on enemies. It felt like dancing with danger. Seeing your characters switch weapons mid-fight or bust a boss pattern just right never got old. Even though this came out decades ago, every time I booted it up, it felt just as intense and rewarding as modern shooters do. Mystic Warriors. Mystic Warriors truly feels like someone took the best parts of Sunset Riders and infused it with pure ninja chaos. The arcade action has you shooting unlimited shurikens, sliding around levels, and slicing close enemies with your sword when they rush you. I didn't just blast through stages. I learned to jump between foreground and background lanes, dodge giant bosses, and grab power-ups that actually mattered during frantic moments. Playing this with friends felt wild, especially when the screen filled with enemies and someone went down. That shared panic and relief when we cleared that wave was real. It's like the arcade gods themselves winked at me each time I cleared another stage. Ninja Commando. Okay, so Ninja Commando is one of those Neo Geo titles I stumbled upon and thought, this could have been bigger. It's a top-down vertical run and gun where I was blasting forward through time periods, dodging enemies and unleashing ninja tricks that felt kinda like fighting game inputs merged with classic shooter momentum. You pick from 3 characters, Joe, Ryu, or Rayar, each with distinct weapons and feels, and you're always trying to keep pace with that upward scroll. The combos with ninja moves were surprisingly satisfying and really made me plan my buttons instead of just holding fire. It's available on arcade, Neo Geo AES, CD, and even modern platforms like Switch, PS4, Xbox, and PC via re-releases, so you can finally try it yourself. Blood Bros. If you ever wanted a Wild West run-and-gun vibe with a twist, Blood Bros is a must-try. This arcade classic drops you into Dodge City as either a cowboy or Native American, and your goal is essentially to wipe out bandits and level whatever environment you can while that enemy gauge ticks down. It's kind of like Cable with way more destructible stuff. Shoot barrels, topple buildings, and keep moving because every explosion feels real. Your ammo's unlimited, but dynamite is precious. So I remember always feeling that little edge. Do I save it for the boss or use it to clear a screen faster? Classic arcade fun that didn't get the ports it deserved. Last Resort. This one isn't exactly a typical infantry run and gun, but the way you pilot that tiny fighter with power-ups, charge shots, and a buddy unit to shield and fire with you always felt like the cockpit equivalent of jumping into a battle on foot. Inspired heavily by shooters like R-Type, it moves horizontally and demands you learn enemy patterns and weapon timing instead of simply spraying bullets. It originally landed in arcades and Neo Geo systems, later included in SNK collections and re-released on modern consoles like Switch, PS4, and Xbox One through ACA Neo Geo. Every time I picked it up, I got this mix of nostalgia and tension, because dodging everything while upgrading firepower never gets easy. Atomic Runner Chelnov. Let me tell you about Atomic Runner Chelnov. It's weird, relentless, and honestly one of the more unique classics I've played in this genre. You control Chelnov, who was literally mutated by a nuclear mishap. And the twist is the game never stops pushing you forward. The screen auto-scrolls, and you're always running, shooting, or jumping while trying to keep up with threats that don't care if you want a breather. It's a forced momentum mechanic that immediately separates it from other run-and-gun shooters like Contra. On top of that, there are 6 weapon types and power-ups that change how you approach every segment. It debuted in arcades and eventually hit the Sega Genesis and X68000, so digging into it feels like unearthing a chaotic gem that modern players should revisit. And that's all for today's video, everyone. Honestly, going through these 11 hyper underrated run and gun games reminded me why this genre still hits so hard. They don't depend on flashy visuals or huge budgets, just tight controls, non-stop action, and that pure arcade energy. Every game on this list brings its own vibe, but they all delivered that fast, satisfying gameplay I always crave for. I really feel like these titles deserve way more love, especially from players who miss simple, skill-based fun. Let me know in the comments below which game on this list you're picking up next.